Welcome to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. Are you a goofball that loves Giants football? If so, sit back and relax. Except you, that person driving. Sit up and keep your eyes on the road. Your ears, though, can still listen as we talk about the team that both excites and frustrates us so much. And now, here are your goofball hosts, Drew and Rob.
Welcome, fellow goofballs, to Two Giant Goofballs, the New York Giants podcast. I am Drew, joined as always by...
me, Rob. Let's get a recap of the draft.
It's time to recap. And apparently it's time for ice cream in your neighborhood. We've been wondering, before we begin, he's at this creepy ice cream truck rolling through his complex. Oh, yes.
Yeah. I won't say all the words I was saying before, but creepy ice cream truck is the right thing to
9
Sweet
p.m.
Tooth from Twisted Metal.
9 p.m., not the time really for ice cream, typically. Unless you're Clint Howard, if anybody knows the movie I'm referring. Oh, yeah. But you know what time it is? 9 o'clock. It's a good time for manscaping.
Oh, it is.
That segue did not work at all.
Speaking of.
Oh, yeah, we had to thank our sponsors, Manscaped. So all of our listeners get a chance for 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com. Code word goofballs. Oh, yes, that's the code word. Oh. The promo code. It more sounds like a spy movie when you say it that way, though. The code word.
The code word is goofballs.
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 Cable guy. But yeah, guys, remember, summer is coming. When summer happens, sweat happens. Sweat happen, smells happen. You know what stops smells and sweats in certain places? Not having hair.
And having deodorant.
Yes, exactly.
And if you're a stylish kind of person, there's also different grades of how short you can go.
Ooh.
So you can make your own lightning bolt or landing strip.
A landing strip, oh yes.
Yeah. And trust us, guys, your balls will thank you.
If you're starting to have some issues with ear hair, nose hair, oh yes, they have it all for the hair there.
Lifesaver.
Like I said, again, save 20% off free shipping at manscaped.com. Again, the promo code is goofballs. We'll have it if you guys are watching videos. The code is right down at the bottom there. So let's get right into the dive into the draft here from this past weekend, because first off, welcome back to those who are listening on the audio after the fact, because we've been kind of absent there all weekend long because we were doing the live feeds throughout the entire draft. We did about
10 hours of content over 10 hours of content over the course of 3 days.
We needed a little break Sunday. Sunday was nice. I like you guys and I like coming on with you guys, but it was nice to have a day not to come on. We were live literally every single day this week. So literally from Monday through Saturday, we were live all 6 days. So definitely having a nice day off was nice. Nice little bourbon, a little hot tub. So let's start off with the first pick. Makes sense. So the first pick overall, we have Deonte Banks, pick number 24, coming out of Maryland. Now, those of you guys who may not have watched the draft or followed too closely might go, wait a minute. We had pick 25, didn't we? Yes, we did. So apparently the Giants were looking to trade up for a lot of that first round. There's been a kind of competing there between some of the Giants beat writers, Dan Duggan and Jordan Raanan. Jordan saying that the Giants tried earlier to trade up to get Deonte Banks, whereas Dan Duggan has said that the Giants were trying to trade up to get Zay Flowers. All we know for sure is obviously they were looking to trade up the entire time, and they finally found a dance partner one pick before theirs. Rumor is they actually beat out the Dallas Cowboys for that pick. Even the Cowboys were trying to move up. So they gave up in the end a pick 160 and 240 to get up one pick. And I've heard a lot of people complaining about the pick. As far as how they trade for the pick, honestly, I could not care less, guys.
Yeah,
if you know who you want, and that's the guy you want, go get your damn guy.
Yeah, especially in the number one draft pick situation. Yeah. Like, this is a guy that you're heavily researching. This is the guy that's going to be a future Giant for hopefully a long time. Yep. You don't think Wink was looking at this guy saying, "Hey, this is the guy."
You see that bear hug he gave when they drafted him? Yeah, I think he's been watching him pretty closely.
Yeah, because I mean, if you guys watch the show, we all know that he was not our number one corner that we all picked here.
Number 5 for us.
And he rose a lot after the combine. Like, he was one of those combine warriors, showed his athleticism. And listen, the Giants want this guy. And I listen, and Shane, we trust, because I think they made the right move for the organization, because they obviously know more than we do. I was a Cam Smith guy. Be out there, not to be a front runner on any of this, but like, they saw the way this guy moved. They know he's a big body guy, 6 foot. Although, Drew, I don't know, when you're doing your research, I saw some places giving him 6'2".
I saw 6 foot everywhere. 6 foot 197.
Oh, ESPN had like 6'1". There was
what is ESPN?
There's draft.
No.
Yeah, right? God. But he's close to 200 pounds. Like, so he's a big body guy, unlike some of these other corners in this draft, who are like, what, 175 pounds, 180 pounds.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, the issue I have mostly with him was just his play style. He is an amazing athlete. Let's get that out of the way right now. Amazing athlete. Yeah. You're hard pressed, no pun intended with the press part. You're hard pressed to come across somebody who has better athleticism than him. He was the combine is something made for him. Of course, he was going to excel at it. Here's the problem: is I watched the tape and I'm not nearly as impressed as I am in the Underwear Olympics, as Bill Parcells used to call them. It's the truth. Like, I'm still not. Yeah. And we promised you guys we would do a deep dive before we started getting all negative too much on there. We would get a little negative. And I'm telling you right now, after doing the deep dive there, I have the same opinion. I think Cam Smith will be a better corner overall. I think we should have traded back into the second round, potentially. Again, if there was a trade partner, we don't know the details in that part, or at least towards the end of the first round. But in the end, the Giants picked someone they see a lot of potential with. And I saw a recurring trend in this draft class, and it starts with him. And I can wait to say that to the end, but I'm going to say it right now. The Giants picked guys that they liked what they can do athleticism-wise, but feel like they need the coaching to fix a couple of things. Like, they didn't pick for what they saw on the tape as much as what they saw the potential for, if that makes sense.
Oh, it does, because they are going to groom these draft picks to be the players they want to see and be fruitful, if you will, in the future seasons.
Yeah. But I don't want that out of a first-round pick. I want a guy who's ready to step in, play, and be my starting corner that I don't have to worry about when I drafted him with a first-round pick. So, that's a second, third round pick.
I hear what you're saying.
I hear
what you're saying. So this guy also has great football IQ, right? He'd be a little grabby at times. So let's say what it is. Like, he gets a little too handsies. It's not like he's a great interceptor. He's good at swatting the ball away, not getting any receptions against him. Yeah. But this is also a guy that Wink is looking at and Dibble is looking at, saying we could coach him to be the player we want him to be. Not taking a player that you see on tape on how they play, and that's how they have to organize their scheme.
Yep.
He's athletic. This is the way he's going to play, and we're going to tell him how he's going to play, instead of someone like Cam Smith, which how he plays, you have to play around that.
I just don't think there's that much of a difference, to be very frank. But we got Gary Stark in here for Facebook. Welcome, Gary. Says,
Gary.
Banks gonna be the bomb. You're crazy. Here's the thing with Banks is what I'm trying to get at is I'm not saying he's not going to be good. That's not what I'm saying by any means. Just to be clear to everybody here, my biggest thing is that I don't think he was worthy of being picked where he was at, because I do think he needs a lot of work put into him to reach his potential. I don't think he's as ready as everybody seemed to think he is. And a lot of that is watching the tape. Look at the Ohio State game. I'll give you that as an example. So that Ohio State game, everybody's throwing up the stats of what Marvin Harrison Jr. did. And they're not wrong. Marvin Harrison Jr. did not have as good a game as he had other weeks, including when he went against Joey Porter Jr. But when it boils down to it, if you watch the tape, Banks didn't sit on Harrison the whole game. He was moving around. There was also holding calls, including some that were declined against him. Those are automatic first downs and big plays. So I'm looking at the tape and I'm not seeing it. And like I said, that's not me saying I don't see him as an NFL player. I don't see him as a starter in this league. I definitely do. He's a starter in this league. I think he's going to have a decent career. I just think that there's going to be movement and work to get him to his ceiling. Whereas I think some people are playing it as this guy's going to walk in, be a beast, be a shutdown corner. I don't see that as the case. I think there's going to be work there. He's going to be an average corner to start. And his athleticism will what make him an average corner. And I think it's going to be some work to get him up there to that ceiling. And it's a matter of how high and how close to that ceiling does he get. None of us will know until he gets in, obviously.
See, I disagree with that a little bit, but
that's fine.
I understand what you're saying, and I get why you're saying that, because, yeah, you can see him get, quote-unquote, beat on a couple plays, and then get a holding call or a pass interference call, which gives up a big play. So if you throw, a 50-yard bomb to Banks, well, not to Banks, but, to whoever who's covering.
Throw the Banks.
Yeah.
We like when you throw to Banks.
But, whoever he's covering, and he gets a pass interference call on him, and he just let 50 yards. That's the complete opposite of what he's supposed to do, besides let the guy catch the ball. I hear that. But I think he's that much of an athlete that he may start off looking at average by the end of the season. Like he's going to be shown why he was drafted number 1.
Yeah. Like I said, I have no doubts he's going to be a good player in this league. I just have the doubts that he's going to be necessarily a number 1 corner in this league. That he has a ceiling and the potential to get there. But if I'm drafting someone in the first round, you have to be somebody that's going to come in, become, not necessarily be right off the bat, but become a number 1 corner. I'm drafting you as one of the top 25 people in a draft. That's what I'm expecting.
So I hear you. I agree with you, but I'm also disagreeing with you because what they did was they took a guy that they liked, they saw the talent, they saw the football IQ, and they saw the athleticism, and looked at him as being a very coachable person where they can mold him into the player they want him to be instead of trying to mold out a player that is set in their routine and like work them out of their routine into making them something they want. This is more of a coachable guy.
Like
work into.
I'm agreeing with you on that as well. Like I said, it's just I don't want a guy who's coachable. I want a guy who's ready.
Yeah, I hear you. I think he's ready. I just think they're going to show him some things, and he's going to be a stud by the end of the year.
Like I said, I just hope so, because I also one thing I saw a lot was if you had a guy who was doing routes that involve like quick, precise movement, like a hook route, things of those nature. If he gets beat and then tries to make up for it with the speed, he can't stop to go ahead and hit that route. And I saw that a couple times. So like I said, I'm not as sold on him. I still think the better move would have been to move back in the second round. If he wasn't there at that point, you had Cam Smith waiting, ready to go. And I think Cam Smith will be just as good in this league as Banks will be. So again, it's not that I'm low on Banks. I'm low on the value of what I think we got, especially when taken to the fact that we did trade to get up for him. Though I'm not knocking the trade per se, because if that's who you think is your guy, go get your guy. But just know you're going to live and die based on that pick at the same point too.
Especially when your rival team was looking to draft him as well.
Oh yeah, listen, dude. Saying F you to the Cowboys like that's amazing, especially after what they did pulling that BS with the Eagles a couple of years ago with us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Jersey Bird style.
Oh yeah. All right. So second round, pick number 57. My personal favorite in this entire draft.
The best value pickup by far.
Well, here's the weird thing. I'm going to disagree with your statement just
actually. Yeah,
my favorite pick, but not necessarily my best. Not necessarily our best value pick. Not even within day 2, which already tells you where I'm going with that one. But I think this is our best pickup overall. John Michael Schmitz, Minnesota, center, 6'3.5", 301 pounds. We talked about him, pretty often there during our interior offensive line show. The guy is a freaking beast. And I think he got hit a little bit in the fact that he's going to be a center. That's it. He's not going to play guard. This is his one spot. He doesn't have the mobility to play guard. He's also doesn't have the mobility to be a mobile center, if that's what you're looking at as well.
Yeah, this guy's great. Well, trainer.
He's going to sit there in the middle. He's going to block his guy, and he's going to do a damn good job at it. And that's all I need. This was to me the best center in the draft. I think to most people as well, even though he actually was the second one chosen. Joe Tipman of Wisconsin went before him, but that's because he also plays guard. The Jets have a center, so he'll move over to guard for the year, and then eventually maybe move back into center. Whereas you don't have that option with Schmitz. So, I mean, I'm looking at the tape, and I don't see a single play, pretty much, that was like, oh my God, that's a bad play. He's just a solid, dependable center.
Workhorse.
I'll even say this. He might end up being the second best offensive lineman we have this season.
Ooh.
May. I really have hope for Neil still. Because we need him. And it's honestly, it's more me hoping than thinking, if that makes sense. Like, we need him. We need him to improve for this line to be a good line this year. But think about it this way. You got Thomas on the left side, one of the best tackles, if not the best tackles in football. Probably, like, I would say top 3 at the very least. And I don't think that's even me being a Giants fan. I think just me being legit. I think top 3. Then you got Evan Neal. If he can even be above average, not even great, just above average this next season, which is a decent increase for us to expect in a second year of a top 7 pick in the draft. You get the center, solid. Just plug in a couple of guards. You got a decent line.
Yeah.
Glowinski hopefully can recap and get a little better from what he was last year. Because, like I said, I had high hopes of him coming in. He disappointed me a little last year. Not that he had a horrible year, just wasn't above average. He was more average, if that makes sense. Left guard spot, you're going to have Josh Azudu or Ben Bredesen probably fighting it out for that spot. Those two guys, this has the potential to be a good line, be the best line we've had, in quite a while.
A decade, at least.
Yeah, I mean, really, and talk about putting draft capital into that offensive line there. So you get the biggest free agent deal that you gave out, not this year, but prior year at right guard. You have your 7th pick at right guard. You have your 3rd round pick potentially at left guard. You have a former first round pick at left tackle, and this year's 2nd round pick in center. Yeah, we've been putting some damn effort into that line, and it needs to show.
That's what I say. About time.
It needs to show. Because if not, what's going to end up happening is Glowinski's going to be gone next year. Evan Neal will be slid into guard, and we need a right tackle all over again. I don't want to deal with that.
No.
I'd rather have it be done, ready to go. All right, we do have a couple of comments here. Connor's in the building. Connor, what's up, man? He says, still worried about Philly's defense. They got 2 new guys and last year's guys, and Fletcher is still there. Wish O-line bigger, tougher. We have no great defensive ends like we had with Strahan Tuck. It's depressing, he says. Listen, don't be depressed, Connor. Don't be depressed. First off, it's just
we're going to be a different offense next year.
Second off, but here's the thing with that, though. I hate when people compare, what Philly did. Philly's getting all the love this draft to the point where literally I heard a rumor that NFL execs were like calling up the NFL and complaining that the Philadelphia Eagles were getting so much love on the NFL Network draft coverage. They thought it seemed biased and unfair. Listen, it doesn't matter who wins the draft. All that matters is who wins a ring. That's all that matters.
Listen, they may be drafting well on paper. Does not translate on how these players will play in the NFL.
We have no clue what's going to happen. Kylie Ringo dropped to the 3rd round. Why? Is there an injury issue? Is there a concern the NFL teams have with him? It looks like a great pickup to us, but is it? We're going to find out.
Yeah.
Is Nakobe Dean going to get injured because he dropped last year? There's a certain defensive tackle they drafted this year going to get arrested. There's still a lot of questions. So, guys, don't worry too much about them. But I'll tell you this. We're going to give you the full breakdown next episode, Wednesday, here on the Cowboys, the Eagles, and the Commanders. So take a look out for that one. They're coming Wednesday at 9 o'clock. And then, like I said, we will give you kind of grades for every team here. But we're going to focus primarily on those 3, since those are the 3 that we're going to face twice a year easily next year, maybe even 3 times. Who knows? We did that with the Eagles this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to Schmitz there. So like I said, to me, best pickup. You get the best center in the draft, high position of need. Because I'm sorry, Ben Bredesen is not going to be a center for us.
No.
He's a guard. I don't think Joe Schoen even ever intended on having him at center. It's like you can see him like snickering in his mind when he says, "Oh yeah, we're fine with Ben Bredesen as our center." Like he didn't. Yeah. So like I said, I'm cool with it. I just think that in the end, we have to also accept what he is. He's not a mobile center. So if you want to run, we're going to throw the whole one side of the line off to the right or left side, he's not a part of that. Accept the limitations that come with him, because these are limitations you can deal with because he's that good of a player. Also, don't expect him to be amazing Pro Bowl caliber, because that's not realistic either, because he's the best center in this draft doesn't mean he has that kind of talent.
He's the best center.
Yeah. He's not Tyler Linderbaum,
Yeah.
who we almost got last year, potentially. A lot of people had him mocked at certain points of the Giants. But he is going to be an above average, highly dependable center in this league, in my opinion. And again, that's a huge upgrade for us right there, guys. So enjoy it for what it is. I mean, I had him late first, early second, we had said when we talked about interior offensive lineman.
We had no idea that he would drop to 57 for us.
We talked about trading up to get him.
Yeah.
We had talked about that multiple times. And then we said trade down in the first, trade up in the second, get your corner, get your center, or get your wide receiver, get your center. Do it that way. And instead we end up getting the guy that a lot of people want to draft in the first round. We got him in the second round, because there was a lot of fans out there. I don't know what they were smoking, but they wanted us to go ahead and draft him in the first round. He's not a first round talent, guys. Again, it's not to be negative about him. He's going to be a damn good player for us. Yes. But he's not a first round guy. Let's see here. Connor comes up with, he says, don't know why we moved up just one. I heard Buffalo wanted tight end, so they kept Dallas from getting him. And I guess we thought Dallas might want Banks. Did you guys lose NFL Network? I did today. No, we didn't. I keep the NFL Network, and I'll give you this as a tip there for anybody else. I think it's Xfinity is the one having the fight with NFL Network right now.
I believe so.
Yeah. So if you download the NFL app and get the NFL Plus, you get that automatically. I think it's like they did a deal. I don't know if they're still doing it. They did the weekend for like $5 for the entire offseason. So you can't watch it on your TV that way, but you can watch it on your phone, on a tablet, or something like that. So just to give you guys,
and most devices will allow you to cast it to your TV.
It won't let you do that. It blocks it. Yeah, it blocks it. NFL is too smart for that.
Lame.
Like that. Yeah, but like I said, if you got a decent sized tablet, who cares? It's the same thing as watching the TV anyway. It's just that much closer to your face.
Let's be real. You're going to be watching it as you're taking care of your morning coffee, if you know what I mean.
Well, let's also be real. There's not much to watch on the NFL Network right now anyway, because there's going to be no games here for the next couple months. And now that the draft is over, there's going to be minor moves here and there. So it's more that you want to watch team things, what's going on with your team, specifically like the New York Giants, which is a great time to say, if you want to find out what's going on with the New York Giants, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell. Subscribe. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. As Connor says, so you get the NFL Network and what else? Depends on what level you do. So you get the NFL Network, and you also, for $10, I think it was, you get all the rewatches of all the games as well, which I do mid-season, because Rob and I rewatched the Giants games like 3 times. So definitely NFL Plus was nice to have, but I haven't picked up for the season, do a monthly one on it yet, because I'm trying to see what they're going to do with this whole Sunday ticket thing. So we'll see from there what we do there. All righty.
Yeah.
On to third round pick. Now, this is the one. This is the one I will call our best value pickup of the entire draft.
Yeah, no one saw this guy dropping this far back.
No one. I can't believe it. I thought, we talked about it before. I didn't want this. It's funny. The guys we drafted, 2 out of the 3 here we're talking about so far, I actually rewatched our takes on them, and both of them we said, I hope it's not us. I hope we don't take him. So we got Banks, which again, if they're that confident, I'm cool with it. Just he better work out. We like Schmitz a lot. Jalen Hyatt, we said point blank that we liked him. We just didn't like him in the first round, where a lot of guys were saying he's going to be a late first round pick. And I can see why. I mean, it's a receiver needy league. He's the 5th best receiver on a lot of boards. He wasn't obviously on all the boards because he didn't go 5th. But yeah, I mean, watching the tape on this guy and doing a deep dive on him, I like him more now than we did our mini dives on all the different wide receivers there, because he's a slot guy. And I know a lot of people say, oh, we have enough slot guys. Listen, first off, you can never have enough slots.
More slots, more money.
But here's the big thing about that is that, was he a slot receiver? Yes. Did he play a slot position? You can argue that one, because if you look at what he did, he ran more outside routes than a slot route. The deep dives, the hooks, all that kind of stuff. That's the stuff he was doing. I still think a lot of what we said he needs to work on is accurate as far as working on his route tree, that kind of stuff there, and working on beating press. But I do think in the end, he's this very, very speedy guy. Like this guy, and Joe Shane said it best in the press conference. He's not just fast. He looks fast on tape. He beats people on tape regularly. And a lot of what that is he knows how to move just the right direction at that point to get a corner to start moving to the left or the right. And then he goes the opposite direction, and you can't make up with the speed when he has it. You cannot make up that speed. I mean, 4.3 speed is hard to get. He's faster than a lot of corners are.
And you can't coach speed.
No.
This guy, and at 185 pounds, you think this guy would be a little slower, but.
Well, here's the thing. So he played, I was looking at that because they said he's added a weight. So he played at 175. He showed up at the combine at 185, which is where he ran the 4.3 in case somebody's worried about him losing speed in the process. He's now at 190. So he's been gaining weight because that's what people have been telling him he needs to do better because of the NFL system. He's not going to be the slot guy that gets the free release because of the way they're setting this whole thing up for him. He's not going to get that in the NFL. So he knows he's going to have to beat some press and some hits at the 5 yards. So he's going for a little bigger of a body to try to beat that kind of thing. I like hearing that kind of thing personally.
Yeah.
He's already looking at what to do. And if he's doing it on his own, he's not doing it fully on his own. He's doing it because he's probably been suggested that by either whoever's been helping him get ready for the draft or, coaches that he's been talking to in interviews and that kind of stuff. So,
but it also shows discipline.
Yeah.
Because you come in, because it wasn't like he looked like a beefy, fluffy gained 10 weights. Like he looked like he was trying to put on the weight the right way for the NFL and still ran a 4.3.
Yeah, like you said, I'm higher on him now than I was when we did the mini dive on all the receivers. Like I said,
any meathead out there will tell you when you're constantly running, it is hard to put on weight. So the fact that this guy put on 15 pounds since his college career, pretty damn impressive.
And I think, like I said, he's still going to need work because he never had to develop a full route tree in college. He'll need to do that. I think you'll see him, though, in the beginning, pop on as a backup receiver that we bring out. We do, 4 wide receiver sets or whatever the case may be, 3rd and long kind of scenarios, those kind of things. And I think the coaching staff will give him time to learn, assuming we're healthy enough to give him that time, because that's a big what if with our team.
Yeah.
Where I'm actually very curious to see is he was a punt returner as well in college.
He was.
I think that's an interesting look at as well, because we know what happened obviously last season with Adoree Jackson. Obviously, that did not go well for Adoree Jackson.
No.
Obviously, Ray Charles could have seen that coming. It was just a bad idea overall. Like, you just don't do that. A guy put an injury-prone guy at a punt return position. Like, that's just stupid. So we can put a guy like this now there while he's learning the craft of a wide receiver, have him as a backup wide receiver, have him as a punt returner. He's still adding good value to the team overall. And then you see what he develops into, because I think he will develop into a good wide receiver in this league. And he has the potential to be a good wide receiver in this league too. I don't want to go crazy and start saying like Pro Bowl or anything like that. But when you got the kind of speed he has, when you kind of got the kind of work ethic he's showing to put on the weight and stuff like that, that's a pretty damn high ceiling in my mind for him.
Yes. Especially like where the Giants receivers are They had a lot of problems last year, but what do we lack a lot?
Speed.
A lot of speed.
It was all Darius Slayton. If it wasn't
It was
Darius
all
Slayton,
Darius
you
Slayton.
weren't speed.
So I'm really excited to see this year, especially like with all the moves they've made.
Mm-hmm.
You put Slayton on one side, you put Hyatt on the other side, you have Waller in the middle, you got Darren, you got DJ, and you got Saquon in the backfield.
You know what I'm really curious about? I'm going to give you a little different scenario. Putting Hyatt and Slayton on the same side, going 9 routes right down the freaking seam, and you have 2 choices. You drop back everybody into coverage deep to go ahead and try to cover them, leaving the flats open, or one of them's going to be open.
Yeah. Oh, I was throwing out a hypothetical there.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like the possibilities are endless with this.
Yeah.
Having a second
you go
guy
right
that can
on the outsides, and then they come in for the slants. Now you're not, you're leaving the field wide open.
Yeah, like I said,
play action.
The flat will be wide open for a guy like Waller or Barkley, or you're going to have one of those 2 guys deep, just wide open 40 yards down the line there.
It's a long career in the NFL.
Ask Brady. But, I mean, a lot of guys had this guy as a late first-round pick. We talked about him as being a second-round guy. We got him in the 3rd round. That's a damn good value. We had the first 3 guys we took, all 3 of them. At different mock drafts were mocked to us in the 1st round. Mocked to us in the 1st round. And we got all 3 in this draft. That's pretty impressive. So like I said, as much as I'm not high on Banks, I'm high in the first 3 picks the way it went. Because I'm not going to agree with every pick. That's fine. I don't have to agree with every pick. That's part of being a fan. And that's part of being somebody who also does, work on draft and tape and stuff like that and analyzing what they think of players. But in the end, you can't be mad with securing a starting center that's the best center in this entire draft, a starting wide receiver potentially in the 3rd round that a lot of people had a much higher grade on, and a corner that's going to step in and be your CB2 that has the potential to become your CB1.
Yeah.
You cannot get mad at that, point blank.
No. Listen, if they just would have gave up the rest of their draft picks and walked away, great. We still want the other players. We had a hell of a night.
Yeah. Well, some of the players might not want. We'll talk about that.
Yeah. Touche.
The next one's the one that's really got me riled up. I think me a little more than you, but I know you didn't like it as well. It
really threw me off yesterday. It really threw me off. So I was like, I was on about. But yeah,
5th round pick 172. That's our comp pick we got. Eric Gray out of Oklahoma, running back. And let me be clear on this. It's not the player I dislike. I liked watching Eric Gray on tape. I think he's going to be a decent backup running back in this league with the potential to be a low-end starter if necessary. It's not that I dislike him. I dislike it because I feel like we overvalued the backup running back position in round 5. And had we had our 4th round pick and our other 5th round pick, by all means, this would have been a golden pick. But because we gave up those picks, the one in the trade to get Banks, the one in the trade to go ahead and get Hyatt, we can't do a luxury pick, and that's what I felt like, a luxury pick. The big one that gets me is Hodges Tomlinson still being on the board. We had the chance to get a guy who's small. Let me be very clear on that. He's small. He's tiny. But he's an awesome press coverage guy. And I said it on the show. We talked about, corners and mock drafts. I think he's going to be the best slot corner to come out of this entire draft. He is speedy little guy with our slot corners.
Like what?
Speedy little guy.
170? 166?
Oh, I forget the exact. I don't have the numbers in front of me. He's like, 5'8" and 175 pounds. Like he's tiny. But in the end, he's got the attitude you want. He has the tools. He's got the experience. He's got obviously the genetics there, being the other LT's nephew. I think that was a much better pick. I have to call me other LT because people are like, "Oh, is Lawrence Taylor's nephew?" No, LaDainian Tomlinson's nephew. But like I said, I just think that would have been a much better pick given our needs. And obviously the Giants wanted to get a second corner. We'll get into that in a minute because they did get one later on. We could have gotten a better corner, I think, here with Hodges Tomlinson, and then gotten a running back later on. But that's not the route we want. So I'm not going to cry over spilled milk here. Eric Gray, 5'10", 212 pounds. The thing about him is he's a good fit for what we do on our offense. So again, I want to be all negative as if I hate the player. I like the player. So we talked about this yesterday. Saturday, we did our post day 3 podcast episode there. So the thing with Gray is he fits in well because we use Daniel Jones as our third down, fourth down runner, which is never a good idea to use a quarterback with an injury history in that kind of role. That's just asking for trouble. Asking for it. You're like, please injure this quarterback. Yeah. He's been healthy for too long.
His neck's feeling good. Why don't you smack it?
Yeah, seriously. So Eric Gray is a guy who's, if you want to talk baseball terms, everybody talks about the home run threat. He's not a home run threat. He's a singles and doubles guy. It's exactly what he is. He will make your first cut, and he will hit that hole pretty quickly. He's got a good burst. He does not have home run threat ability. He's not your 40-yard dash guy. But what he is again, a guy with good vision, makes the first cut, usually makes the first guy miss too. I think he's a guy who's going to be averaging around 4 yards a carry. And what I mean by that is literally he's going to get pretty much 4 yards every time. He's not going to get you 12 or 13 very often, but he's also not going to get you 2 off very often or 0. So there's a value to that.
There's a big value to that because guess what? If you do that 3 times, it's 12 yards.
Good average.
So it's not the best, but it's also not the worst. And
exactly.
He's like what would you say? Like a C+ player out of it. Like
I mean, maybe B-. Like I said, it's not that I dislike the player. I just disliked the position we went in that time based on.
No, I agree. Available. Like there was definitely.
And I'll be honest with you guys. We talked about the running backs obviously before the game. I didn't know much on Gray. I knew of him. I obviously played for years between Oklahoma and Tennessee, so I knew of him. But I never did a deep dive in him because he didn't make our top 10.
No.
So, didn't have the info I was hoping to have going into with the 5th round pick. But I thought going into we'd have like the first 5 picks. We'd have, our homework done right, and we'd be good to go. And then,
welcome to draft day, baby.
I'm like, God damn it. Come on, people. Especially because a couple of the guys we did actually have in our top 10 were still there at that time. So, like I said, again, not a bad pick. I'm just upset because of our needs. What else was available where we went? It wasn't the right move for me. Later on would have been the better move at that point. Again, because a position of need had someone who dropped, and it could have dropped right into our lap.
I agree.
We could have been like Santa.
Ho, ho, ho.
Ho, ho, ho.
What did you call me?
Green Giant.
Oh.
So now we got the next guy here is an enigma wrapped up in a mystery, smothered in secret sauce. And I don't mean the Big Mac sauce. I mean secret sauce. We have no clue what the hell's in it.
Not Thousand Island.
Yes, not Thousand Island, exactly, with a little bit of relish. Whatever they did. I forget. There's actually a guy on TikTok who used to work being an executive chef for McDonald's, and he reviews when people try to do the at-home ones. But he won't tell you what it is, but he'll tell you if you're close or not. He walks that line of not getting in trouble with McDonald's.
Interesting.
Yeah. Trey Hawkins III, pick 209 out of Old Dominion. 6'2", 188 pounds. So damn good height and reach for a corner. Let's get that out of the way first off. 6'2". Yeah. We were talking about I got 5'8" before. 6'2". I mean, that's some good length and some good size there.
So he's got a good reach.
But he's also got the good speed as well to go with it too. He also improved last year from in his 22 to 21 tape. But I'm telling you guys, this guy's a project. He is a project. We talked about this with the Banks thing. We go, okay, we see the athleticism, we see the potential. This is 100% drafting by potential. It's almost like they were in the draft room saying, Old Dominion's coaches suck. We can fix this.
Yeah, so this is a guy, like, he knows the book. He knows what he's supposed to do. But outside of that, he finds himself lost. He's like the good old GIF of what you call it, Johnson Vulture. It's just like if they change the play, there's an audible, like, and he's not running the route he's supposed to run, he seems lost.
He's also not that good at predicting the routes in general. Like I saw a couple times that he like had that aha moment, like, oh, I see what's coming, and then all of a sudden he guessed on it and was way off. So he definitely has some work, and I think the Giants' perspective of, we talked about it before, you can't teach speed. You can't teach athleticism. You can help improve it a little bit, but in the end, you got it or you don't. So I think they go, he got it. We're going to get him in the 6th round.
We're just going to work on the other
some
stuff.
of the mental stuff, and we could have a steal here. And they're not wrong. So it's not that I like this pick. I just would have rather we got Hodgins Tomlinson in the 5th.
Yeah, agreed.
Could have gotten a safety in the 6th, and then gotten a running back later on in the 7th, and our secondary be that much more improved than what it is now. I
mean, let's be honest here. It's pick 209 out of the draft.
Yeah.
Like, what is your starter number one, like, possibilities there? If you turn around and make him look like a 3rd-round pick, then you got to steal.
Oh, like, even if he just is a guy that pops on to nickel and dime coverages and doesn't embarrass himself in the 6th round, that's a steal. 100%. Let's keep the bar that low as it should be. Because I love when you see other content creators. I'm not going to name any names, but I even saw one today, like talk about an undrafted guy. We'll talk about in a little bit, as if it's the second coming of like Jerry Rice. Like, it's, guys, when you get a 6th-round pick, you have to keep in mind they're a 6th round for a reason. Now, did Tom Brady come out of the 6th round? Yes. But so did 10,000 other players that you'll never know the name of. Or what
I was about to say, can anyone else name the 31 other players that came out in the 6th round?
How about this?
Year?
Who can name the player drafted after Brady?
Or before?
Yes. No one. Because no one freaking knows. It's a 6th round. Like I said, you just want this guy to end up being a solid bench piece, and you're happy. So if you have a guy who has all the skills that a starter has, as far as physically, just needs to work on his craft, needs to learn recognition better, those kind of things. It's willing. I'm willing to take that kind of risk because that's a risk that makes sense to take, especially on a position of need. We talked about this earlier. Adoree Jackson is probably not going to be a Giant next season because if he was, the Giants would already be talking about an extension. They're not.
Yeah.
That tells you they want to move on. Now, whether they can or can't depends on how the season goes. You know, if they don't have a viable number one corner in their eyes, yes, they're going to try to keep Adoree Jackson when the offseason hits next year. But if Banks does well, and one of the other guys, whether it be Hawkins here that we're talking about, or Aaron Robinson, or Cordell Flott, one of those guys steps up and they think, okay, this guy can be our number 2. We're good. We don't need Adoree anymore. Adoree ain't going to be here. If he's here next year, it's out of necessity. Point blank.
Yeah. What's going to be cheaper? $9 million to keep Adoree or rookie contract?
Scary thing is we got tons of money next season. Tons of money next year. We're like the Chicago Bears next year. It's that bad.
Yeah, Bears.
The Bears. All righty. Our 7th round selections. So the first one, who I believe I actually mispronounced yesterday, so I should apologize. I think I was calling him Jordan Riley by accident. It's Jordan Riley. So pick number 243 out of Oregon. The Ducks. Quack, quack.
Quack.
Quacky, quack, quack. So the first thing that stands out to you when you talk about this guy and you look at what he does is how he looks when he stands. 6'5", 324 pounds.
Big dude.
This man
Mammoth.
This man is 2 inches shorter than me. Has 100 pounds on me. Yeah.
7 inches taller than me.
Well, okay, I should say 100
pounds.
I should say 100. He's got like 60 pounds on me.
Yeah, and 100 pounds on me.
I just feel skinnier when I say that. But I would imagine how big he must look in person. That's a big guy.
That's a mammoth.
Yeah. So this is like Dexter Lawrence with more height. That's basically what we're looking at here.
Yeah.
So what do you think a big boy like that's going to do? He's going to stop the run. He's going to clog the hole. This is what he does. And if you watch,
he's bigger than the hole.
Yes, exactly. He's the size of 2 holes. He's just a decent run defender. He's got a really good first move punch where you'll see him literally. You'll see the lineman get pushed up by him doing that. But he's not good with double teams. He provides absolutely nothing against the pass rush, at least currently. I think the plan for him is to just try to develop him into a goal line defensive tackle kind of guy, a guy you can bring in short yardage and goal line kind of situations that is a run stopper, a run stuffer, and a guy who's going to free up the linebackers behind him to make the play if need be. That's what he's going to be.
100%.
Best case.
I mean, listen, coming into this draft, I mean, we looked at this position a lot, and majority of these guys, we're not good at double teams.
No. There's a reason he's a 7th round draft pick. A lot of people actually expected him to go undrafted. This is why. He's had issues. If he didn't have issues, he'd be a 1st round pick. So
yeah, it's usually how that works.
pretty much. So our last draft pick of the draft here, Javarius Owens, pick 254, safety out of Houston. Not to be confused with the Houston Texans, who probably should be a college football team. 6 foot. A lot
of college teams could probably beat the Houston Texans.
We'll see. We'll see now that they got a quarterback, but we'll see. 6 foot even, 195 pounds. Another guy that just an amazing athlete. If you look at his stuff, man, he lit the combine on fire. He's definitely a ball hawk kind of guy. Like, he goes for that ball. The thing is, he doesn't usually get it. Usually just kind of taps it out of the way. He's like that one step short. And I think that's what this coaching staff sees in him. They go, he's a guy that if you can get him to make his cut just slightly quicker, those tips become interceptions.
Which we did not have a lot of last year.
No. But I think he'll be more of a nickel dime kind of safety at that point when you bring a 3rd safety in. He's okay with playing against the run. He's pretty aggressive against that. So that's going for him. He doesn't have the sideline to sideline speed. As athletic as he is, you don't see the reaction time of the sideline to sideline speed with him to be a center fielder kind of guy. So I still think McKinney will be that role. So I think you'll have McKinney in that role. You'll have whoever wins the safety position. Otherwise, being more that box safety kind of mentality with occasional occasional cover skills. And then you'll have a guy like Owens pop in to be that nickel dime kind of, safety at that point to kind of survey the field and make the hits when you got to make them. And I think I actually like this pick. As weird as it sounds, out of all the late round picks, I like this one the best because you get a guy in the 7th round who's got this kind of athleticism that if you can teach him or even just scheme him into the right positions, which, again, we're talking about he had issues getting into the right play when there was a 2 safety standard set. If he just sees the field in a 3 safety set, he only has to cover a 1/3 of the field, not half the field. This helps when you have a guy who can't have sideline to sideline speed. You don't need that. I need you to have hash to sideline speed. That he has. So like I said, I think he's going to be a good pickup for us. I see him, again, like it'd be a nickel and dime kind of safety for us. And I think you won't see him probably play a lot this year. You'll probably see him more on special teams this year. But I think they'll try to develop him into that nickel dime kind of safety. And if he's got the skills and he's got the learning ability to learn the stuff he needs to learn, could be a damn good pickup for us.
Yeah, I think so. 100%.
Yeah.
I like it.
I like it a lot.
I like it a lot.
All righty. So before we get into our undrafted free agents, I would remind you that if you don't want to be an undrafted free agent yourself, it's time to go to manscaped.com. Oh, yes, Manscaped.
Shave these bad boys right
Exactly.
up.
Listen, the ladies know at the club who's been manscaping and who hasn't been.
Listen, they'll put a light on that.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
Exactly. You can find your way to the bar with it. No kidding.
Excuse me. I'm just trying to get a drink. Excuse me. All right. Excuse me.
Remember that thing in Jackass where they used to like to people's hair all the time?
Oh yeah.
I'm picturing somebody at a bar doing that. It won't take long to get punched. But no, seriously, guys. Again, summer is coming. You gotta go ahead and do a little more grooming. The winter Wolverine look is over. It is that time because
no more
you don't
mutton
need the
chops
extra
for your
layers.
balls.
Yeah, you don't need the extra layer of insulation soon. You need the breathability, and the breathability comes with Manscaped and the Lawnmower 4.0. Again, guys, we talked about this in prior episodes. This is skin-saving technology here on this thing. This will not nick you. This will not cut you. I know that's a concern everybody has. So putting an electronic razor in there.
And it'll go through the canoe, up the mountains, and down down everywhere, pain-free. And then in the morning before you go to work, when you're running around, you put a little bit of your ball preserver on.
Oh, yes. Listen,
ball
deodorant. Smell that. Even you yourself don't want to smell that.
No. And let me tell you, it makes a huge difference. No chafing, no run marks, just smooth sailing.
Guys, I'm down here in Florida, in the Tampa Bay area, and I don't say that just to brag. I say it to remind you guys that I deal with heat for most of the year. These are important things. So all y'all that are just getting out of winter, waking up out of hibernation, about to hit the clubs in Seaside or wherever you go, fist pumping, and gym tan laundering.
We're in bamboo no time.
Listen, I used to love bamboo back in the day. But like I said, guys, it's important stuff. And even those of you that aren't going to the club that are married, listen, you want certain things to happen. Certain follicles need to be out of the way for that, okay? I'm just saying. So
not only were your balls thank you, so were your wife.
Yes.
Or husband. I don't know.
Again, 20% off plus free shipping, manscaped.com. Use the promo code Goofballs. And remember, with Manscaped, your balls will thank you.
Oh, they will.
Oh, yes. Thank you. I don't know why they're so high pitched, those balls. Someone just punched them or something. I don't know. All right, guys, let's get into the undrafted free agents here before we get even more ridiculous. Connor says, so I steed if hair wet balls, you just have wet balls now. Hold on, I'm confused now. Connor, retry that.
Instead of hair wet balls, you just have wet balls now? Yes.
Yes.
But that's when you put the deodorant on. So this way you don't get sweaty wet balls. It kind of slides right off. And
plus, this is actually safe to use in the shower.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
And what a lot of people are afraid of
electrocution
is that and nicking your junk. The top's a plastic blade.
Oh, yes.
That's what gives it the technology and the power, not to cut your beanbag.
Oh, yes. All righty, guys. So anyway, back to the rookie free agents here. It's important a topic as manscaping is. So I kind of went in order of by position because there wasn't obviously these aren't so then we can go, oh, well, they picked them there, that. These guys we just picked up randomly. So first, quarterback. So we talked about a quarterback and wanting a quarterback and thinking this would be a great time because we had all those extra picks to get a quarterback. Obviously, with the trades that happened, we didn't have the extra pick to get that kind of luxury pick at a quarterback to groom to be your backup after this season. So what we did is we picked up Tommy DeVito out of Illinois. And no, not Tommy DeVito, the Four Seasons singer, not Tommy DeVito, the character from The Godfather, or not The Godfather, Goodfellas. That's what it was. Goodfellas. Yes. I think had a Tommy DeVito. Yes. So 6'2", 209 pounds from Livingston, New Jersey. So we got a Jersey boy here. This man knows a portfolio. A transfer from Syracuse. Danny DeVito. He's a Jersey boy as well.
Yeah.
Maybe they're related. Who knows? They're only about 3 feet difference in height.
3.5, whatever.
So Illinois actually talked about wanting to keep him as a 6-year senior. And they wanted to try to figure out a way to happen, but they weren't able to figure it out. I don't know if that was his choice or the NCAA said no, but it's one of those things that it's interesting because why would he want to keep on staying? He's old for a rookie. He's going to be, 24, 25 years old. And that just tells you the confidence isn't really there in him being an NFL player long term.
No.
Why else would he want to continue his collegiate career? And I wonder also how much the Giants got scouting on him. You know, one thing we talked about a lot of Illinois players, especially out of the secondary. We neglected to mention something that may have come into handy with us. Brett Bielema, who was a former assistant coach for the Giants and for the Patriots before that, as part of the Joe Judge regime for the first year. That's their head coach. So I'm sure some people in the building know Brett, still have a decent relationship with Brett, where they don't mind giving a text message, talking to him about it, getting his opinion, picking his brain, talking about manscaping. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
Silky smooth.
No, that's not Sohan. It's Brett Bielema we're talking to. So I think the Giants got enough info that they're interested in bringing him in. Honestly, though, guys, I don't have high hopes for this one.
So don't expect much.
Yeah, I'd be shocked if he makes it out of camp. And if he makes it out of camp, he'll probably be in the practice squad, I'm thinking. I'm watching the tape. I'm not impressed. I'm looking at the fact that nobody expected him to be drafted. So, listen, stranger things have happened. But it's not a guy that I've got high hopes. I don't have high hopes. Let's get to a guy that a lot of people, though, have high hopes on.
Ooh.
Bryce Ford Wheaton. Not to be confused with Will Wheaton.
Wide
receiver out of West Virginia. Oh, yes. Country road.
Take me home.
To a place.
I call home
West Virginia. So here's why people are so interested in him. 6'4", 221 pounds, 4.38 speed.
It's a big boy running pretty fast.
Damn straight it is.
A big boy running really fast.
I'm saying that's pretty impressive to run that at that speed at that size. That's not something you see very often. And he went undrafted. What does that tell you guys?
I mean, he was supposed to. A lot of experts said he was supposed to go in the 6th round. Like he does have the ability to pick out big plays, get a couple GEDs, but
that's all he does, though. That's the problem.
But I was about to say, what else are we missing? Like,
that's what it is.
Injury prone there?
No, it's just the big plays and touchdowns, which everybody is showing nonstop on Giants content creation and stuff like that. And I mean, everybody, listen, I'm not going to name names of who does or doesn't, but there's certain people that will say or do anything for clicks. That's not us, and our clicks show it. But here's what it boils down to. Here's what it boils down to in the end. He does have the big play ability. He does have the touchdown ability, but he disappears in segments of the games. He also has drop issues. He has trouble getting separation. But if he does get the separation, he's a good jump ball guy. He's a guy that has the speed to get open based purely on that. He's just a raw talent. And I think he's somebody that's going to bring in camp to be a camp body. If they have a whole bunch of injuries, knock on wood, knocking on my desk here just in case. Or let's say some of the guys who were injured last year aren't quite ready. Maybe you keep him on the practice squad. Maybe he's a back end guy at that point. You know, that's what he's going to end up being.
Yeah.
So these guys that are trying to tout this guy as the next Victor Cruz with 6 inches more height, stop. If you're hearing that, point blank, there's a button for unsubscribing. And I would highly suggest it because there's too many of these BS content creators making it seem like this guy is going to be an amazing football player. If he was going to be that amazing, he probably would have been drafted. That's not to say people don't fall through the cracks. They do. We've had a few in our days, and Victor Cruz obviously is the one that come to mind here because we're talking about a wide receiver. But those are few and far in between. If that's what you're banking on for your season, you are royally screwed. So, like I said, I just keep it honest on what it is. Where we should do it. Only everybody did it that way. would be such BS. Like there's one guy out there, I won't even name any names because I don't remember the name of the content, the channel off the top of my head, so I can't. This one, they keep posting. It's like, oh, Giants signed this person at this position, and then you watch the video and no, they're talking about somebody we could draft potentially. They don't mention anything about anybody we signed. It's all clickbait to get you to hit the button. That stuff ticks me off. Because
lame.
That's what that is. Don't cheat people and don't belittle the work that other people do that actually put the time and effort into it. Alrighty, so next one. I get off my soapbox here. Linebacker Deonte Johnson out of Toledo. And holy Toledo, 6'2", 230 pounds, good size linebacker. It's what you're looking for is that kind of size. Very good against the run. Does okay in zone coverage. Very good work ethic. Sounds good so far, right?
Where could be the mistake?
He's slow as hell.
And
he's missed tackles.
I was about to say. Can't keep up.
Again, can't body. They're going to bring in. See if Toledo messed up again. And I hate when I word it this way because I feel like I'm like disrespecting the college coaches. But again, Toledo does not exactly have the same quality of head coaches and assistant coaches that the New York Giants or any NFL team has for that matter.
This is very true.
What it is. Sometimes you get the right coach. We talked about a minute ago of Victor Cruz. And again, I'm not saying that he's going to be the Victor Cruz of linebackers. But I'm just saying, he went to Massachusetts, didn't light it up, didn't get drafted. Giants bring him on, right coaching, and all of a sudden they fix a couple of things, and he's on fire. So, this could be a guy that we have as just a backup, running back. Oh, sorry, backup linebacker. What worries me though is he lacks the speed that you usually like to have in special teamers. If you can't make it on special teams, you're probably not going to make it far as a backup, bottom of the roster kind of guy. So I don't have very high hopes here. But again, let's see what he does when he actually comes to the building.
Practice.
Yeah. Listen, I'll take a guy with good work ethic all day long.
Yeah. It sets the mood and mentality. Like, you may not be the best, but as long as you're trying damn hard and you got a top talent guy that's not trying that hard, that could change how that top talent guy plays.
Sometimes it does, and worst comes to worst. It's like I said, it's a body you can pop on the practice squad or so. See if you can work with him during the season. See if you can mold him into being a backup in this league for a few years.
Yeah.
So, all right, we have one last player. I know, so sad. One last more before we go. That's it.
We've got here.
Sign some more Giants,
please, Giants, please.
Jamon Green, cornerback out of Michigan, the Wolverines. He's not an X-Men. No. 6'2", 181 pounds. Good size for a corner. We talked about the height thing before. We talked about Hawkins. I mean, that's a good size. He's got pretty much the same exact size, just a couple pounds less than Hawkins. Here's what he doesn't have, though. He's got Deonte Johnson issues with speed.
Slow.
4.53. That's his 40 time. Most receivers in this league have about a 4.3, 4.4 40 time. If you're behind them by a tenth of a second,
you're going to get smoked.
That's all it takes in the NFL. So I don't have a lot of high hopes for him whatsoever. But he also had his best year in 2020 when he did a press coverage scheme with the Wolverines. So the last 3 years, they've replaced their defensive coordinator every year. This guy's had a revolving door of coordinators. That's one of the issues there. So if he's a press guy that has a safety to back him up, he could do better than what we've seen the last couple of years from him at Wolverine with the Michigan Wolverines there.
Yeah.
What's interesting is he also has a twin brother who also plays corner for the Wolverines. Now, I wonder, could you scheme that up somehow where it's like, which Green is this? Which
You're
one
right.
is it?
Psych
Who
him
is
out.
it? Exactly. Can I give him the same number?
No, see, I'm 6'6". He's 66.
Yes, that's a different thing
Different
here.
number. Different
Yeah.
number.
Exactly. He's number 1. I'm a lowercase L.
Yeah.
Now here's the other crazy part. Guess what his brother's name is for Gemon, which is spelled Gemon.
It blew my mind.
His brother's name is German. German and Gemon. That had to be very confusing growing up.
Jamal, you took the cookies.
No, I'm thinking like
Mom.
I'm thinking like when you go to school. Like imagine your homeroom. Jamon Green here. German Green too here.
Yeah.
Wait, that was you a second ago. It gets very confusing.
You kids these
But
days.
it's not all bad with him. I don't want to be a negative on him. The big thing is just the speed issue, and that's a big thing. We talked about it before. What can't you teach?
Speed.
Can't teach speed. You can take speed, but that's illegal. You can't teach it.
Unless you get away with it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a few players back in the day got plenty of speed and got away with it.
Sure LT did.
Yeah.
So primarily he did man coverage in college. Did cover 3 and cover 6 as well. He actually lost his starting job this past season with the Wolverines. He became basically like their third corner by the end of the season. He's not afraid of contact whatsoever. Thrives, like I said, in press. But the issue again is the speed. The best work he did was against bigger possession receivers, and it made me think of this. And this is me shooting from the hip. What's 100%? I don't want to make it seem like I've read anything on this or this is in talks. I wonder if you put a couple pounds on him, could he be a safety? Could we convert him to safety where he can cover a tight end or a running back? You know, if he's good against press, does good against bigger possession receivers. Who's the biggest possession receivers in the league like that? Tight ends.
It was funny because when you said, like, we were talking about his speed before, that's something I was thinking. It's like, this is a guy who obviously probably converts over to the center of the field and play from there.
Yeah, like I said, and again, I haven't heard anybody within the Giants say that. I haven't heard anybody from that is a beat writer or works at all in the Giants organization. No one has said it.
But let's be real. I mean, majority of these people that win this draft are free agents with all over the 32 teams in the NFL.
Yep.
Were versatile players that could play multi positions that they could move around.
Yeah. But
right?
I'm just saying, 4-5-3, you're not making it as a corner. Not making it.
No
way.
Unless you're covering tight ends, because that's that tight end speed.
Exactly. Scary thing is your tight ends to do fashion that too. But still, you're not giving up
as Travis
much.
Kelce.
Yeah, you're not giving up as much speed at that point there. So the other thing is he also does have trouble getting off blocks when he's in the run game as well. So again, that speaks to the fact that he probably needs to add some weight on because he's not going to be able to do what he needs to possibly do in the NFL to succeed and have a career.
Listen, take some beefcake, gains 20 pounds, he'd be a fantastic safety.
Yeah. Alrighty. So I think it's great time. So I'm going to go ahead and say that I would give the Giants an A- in this.
Oh.
An A-, which I know people thought I've been negative the whole time. Like there's some moves I didn't like we talked about. I'd rather would have traded down and taken a different corner later on than taking Banks. I wouldn't have taken Eric Gray so early on. But in the end, we got some depth pieces we needed. We filled 3 major holes, potentially, at least 2. The biggest holes basically on this roster with the first 2 picks. So that's a success to me. We'll see how the players in the end turn out. You know, my biggest question mark is on Banks, obviously. All eyes are on him this preseason. But
that's amazing that you gave the Giants the A-, because I gave the Giants an A- within the first 2 nights, and then picking up Mr. Gray when they had better options kind of tumbled it down, and I gave him a B+ overall.
Okay.
Because once again, I agree with you. I think there's other needs when we drafted a backup running back, especially after we re-sign Bretta in the offseason. It wasn't like it was a necessity, high value pick that we needed when there's other players that was more needed and more valuable for us to draft at the time, which then caused the snowball effect. Given then the B plus.
The only thing is that do the Giants know something we don't know as far as what's going on with Saquon? I mean, obviously they do know something we don't know. We're not
100% because they won't talk about it. That's the thing.
Yeah. But good news for Giants fans here, though, that they did reopen the talks again with Saquon. They are, now that the draft is over, that can be the focus of Joe Shane is doing that. I will say that I wouldn't be shocked at all if his focus shifted at some point, if that doesn't get done, talking about, a new contract with Dexter Lawrence, a new contract with Andrew Thomas, who I believe is now also going to be eligible for a new one next year, but they at least want to have the framework figured out so we can see where he's at and make sure they know he's in the long-term plans. Maybe an extension with Leonard Williams, but I'll tell you, based on the way things are looking, I don't think that's happening. I think we're just going to bite the bullet and take the payment because that'll be $36 million cleared off the board next year, just that one player. Add another $10 million on that we're still eating on the Kenny Golladay move. We just freed up almost $50 million.
Crazy.
That's crazy, is it? But and people can talk all they want about us paying the extra money next year to Daniel Jones. We're paying him like $47 next year. That's fine. That's a $27 million increase. That only takes up half that money, just with those two moves right there. Yeah. Ray Jackson comes off, a lot of the money. It's going to be crazy. All righty, Giant fans. So again, Wednesday, we're going to go ahead and give you guys the grades on the rest of the teams. We're going to do mostly a focus on the NFC East teams that, besides us, obviously we won't rehash this for a 10th time. Like I said, we want to give you guys the heads up on what the Cowboys did, the Eagles did, the Commanders did. Obviously, we'll do some talk about the other teams as well and kind of give our grades there overall, kind of give, quick synopsis, kind of 1 minute thing on each of the teams there as well. So we're not going to do a deep dive in everybody. We'll do more of a deep dive on the NFC East teams there for you. And then on Friday, so we're going to change things up here. And we may change things up more long-term even potentially as well. Rob and I have to discuss our schedules to figure that out. So Rob has a very special day planned on Friday. So he will not be available to shoot live on Friday. What we're going to do instead is we're going to do something probably Thursday or early on Friday and put it up still as the premiere on Friday. So we will still have the episode for you guys, but we may look to change the schedule up a little bit more because, believe it or not, Rob and I have a life outside of this, outside of doing this. So yeah. Friday nights being freed up for the summer might be nice. So we might look to maybe reschedule for Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It's like Monday, Wednesday, Thursday instead of doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But we got to talk it out and figure that out there. So like I said, we will post that one up on Friday. The week after that, we're going to have the same problem as well because I'm going to the Bahamas.
Bahama, pretty mama. Juice Frank coconut breast.
Oh, I always do. So I'll be gone Thursday through Monday next week. So we're going to have probably 2 more episodes that we're going to do like that for you guys as well. So we will try to keep them live as much as we can, 100%, so we can give you guys a chance to comment on. We do definitely appreciate those who do. Even though we appreciate you guys that don't as well, because trust me, I can see how many people are in here, and I know how many people aren't commenting. The percentage is pretty low in the people that comment. That's fine. You want to sit here and watch and listen. We appreciate you too as well. So don't take it as otherwise as far as that. Again, guys, like I said, we'll be live again for you guys on Wednesday. We'll have the recorded episode on Friday that will pop up as well. And then that one actually on this Friday is going to be reanalyzing the wide receiver room. Because now that we have Hyatt, I know a lot of people already asked me, what are we doing here? We got so many damn receivers. So we're going to give you guys an analyzation as far as who we think is going to make this team, what the plan is with the position going forward, because it's a really interesting pick because we have so many goddamn Robins, not a single Batman.
Waller's the Batman.
I'm saying in the wide receiver room. I agree with you there, but we have in the wide receiver room, we have every single Robin possible. I mean, we have Dick Grayson. We have
Nightwing.
No, well, that is Dick Grayson.
Yeah.
Don't tell the people that in the city he protects, though. We also have I forgot the name of the other one that the Joker kills, and the one that's Batman's half son.
Jake, Steven, Stavin, and Robin.
Connor says, "Wow, vacation. What's that?" Listen, I live in vacation land. I vacation all the time. In fact, I'm a pass holder at Disney and all. So yes, vacations. And he says, "Don't forget sunblock, Whitey." Listen, I'm good. I got a base coat on me like you wouldn't believe because, again, I live in the sunshine area. It's what we do. We go out in the sun. We enjoy. So I appreciate you thinking of me, Connor, though. So, again, guys, like I said, we got a couple good shows lined up here for the rest of the week as well. So keep in mind, I know a lot of people worry with this kind of stuff. Like, what are they going to talk about when the draft is over?
Plenty. Have you listened to Drew talk?
Yes.
He'll talk to you about his socks.
I have amazing socks on. Actually, my socks right now don't even match. I'm going to give you guys the heads up.
You're one of those people right now.
I got the black sock on this one. I got the blue sock on this one. Oh,
You're a monster.
I am. As I'm hitting random buttons on my computer trying to show you my socks. Listen, that's the kind of thing you get when you watch a live show on video. You get the view of socks, okay? Not everyone gets to see socks, okay? Plus, you get to see all the lovely Giants memorabilia here, including the traveling Giants gnome here as well. Oh yes, the traveling Giants gnome. Plus the Manscaped news here.
The Sasquatch.
Connor says, Roberto, you get to speak more when Drew gone. LOL. Good luck with that. Listen, Rob, you are more than capable of doing a solo show.
He's going to slide a pancake underneath the door for me.
I've had to do a solo show before, and I've had to do a couple shows where you weren't able to make it because of work and stuff. So, listen, you are more than welcome to do a live show while I'm on vacation. Trust me, though. I have an internet package at the cruise. I would say Carnival, Royal Caribbean. I'm doing actually with the cruise that I'm doing. So therefore, if you do a live show, I will be in the comment section. Beware! I'll be in that comment section. And my reviews will be brutal.
Plenty of Mai Tais in.
Actually, I don't think I'm going to get the drink package. I think the plan is to get the Listerine full of the blue rum and try to sneak that on. They want $80 a day per person. Oof. Per person. So yeah, you can't do it where the wives or your friends, if they don't drink, don't pay for it. No, automatically everybody has to go ahead and buy it. So for me and her, you're talking $170 it comes out to a day plus taxes. I don't know about you guys. I like to drink. I like to drink where my stomach doesn't get pumped afterwards, though, because that's what's going to happen if I have to drink that much. Yeah, because her one glass of Moscato could have covered the bill.
Whiskey, funnel.
Just funnel it in. No, it's rum there. It's rum, the Bohemian rum. I found a place actually in Nassau where I'm going that does a raspberry chocolate rum.
Sounds like diabetes in a shot glass.
Listen, diabetes. I'm all for it, seriously. So, all right, guys. So I can talk about rum and my trip forever here, but I won't bore you with details that you probably don't care about. But listen, if you care, maybe I'll post 1 or 2 pictures up on social media for you guys of me in the Bahamas. Talking about the New York Giants there to the people at the bar that don't care.
Locals.
Yeah, they'll be like, what is football now?
Little football?
Football? Pele?
FIFA?
Alrighty, guys. Again, if you're watching live with us, appreciate you coming on live. Again, every Monday, Wednesday, and for now, Friday. We might change that up soon. 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, we also are available after the fact as well. So if you're not watching live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, my LinkedIn page, all that stuff is available. The best is my LinkedIn page. The scary thing is I have a lot of international people on there too. It's like 10,000 people follow my LinkedIn page. So I guarantee most of them have no clue what football actually is. So if you're on my LinkedIn page, come on to the Facebook or YouTube and let us know you're in there watching, because we do get people that watch every episode on there. I can see the stats. I just don't know how many of them are actually watching regularly or how long they're staying on for. It doesn't give me that. Like most of them do. So again, guys, if you're not watching us live, you can watch it live after the fact, except for Twitch. I got to figure that out. If I'm new to Twitch thing, they delete the episode when it's done being live. Some kind of setting I got to hit. But also, of course, we're available on audio platforms as well. So again, welcome back to our audio listeners. There, we actually weren't live for that because we were doing so many live videos during the live draft. We weren't on for that. We had one of the guys even pop in that usually watched us, listened to us on audio, pop into YouTube too. So that was kind of cool because we can't interact with y'all when you're listening on audio. So it's kind of cool to get the chance to talk to y'all too as well in the chats as well. So again, guys, appreciate you guys taking the time to listen into these goofballs, what we have to say about the New York Giants, the NFL, and the draft as a whole. We know you got plenty of options where to get your Giants news and NFL news from. We appreciate you chose these two goofballs. We question your choices, but we appreciate it anyway. So
we really appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Yes, again, we'll see you guys on Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, to talk about the NFC East draft picks and kind of give grades for all the teams there overall. And before we do our usual ending, I have to hit this button one more time because I'm not going to hit this button again for the rest of the year. Okay? I don't know why. I just love that.
Ding.
Love that sound. It's fun. So again, guys, appreciate you guys checking us out here tonight and coming on live with us there. Appreciate you guys listening afterwards, and hit that subscribe, hit that bell, hit all the different buttons here so you know when we're coming on live or when new episodes pop out in your audio podcast as well there, guys. And as always, Giant fans,
go G-Man!
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support. If you made it this long, you must have enjoyed it. So I am sure you have followed us on all the social media platforms. Of course, you have subscribed to the show on your favorite app as well and given us a top rating. Right? Right? Right?